All right, we've got a different kind of a focus on Pat's personal portraits today because the personal portrait that I've chosen to share with you is the NFL. The NFL, as it is now, post-work stoppage for the referees. Oh, you didn't know that there was one? You may want to go to some other channel then, because everybody's talking about this, including a guy who played 7 years in the NFL, the Cardinals, the Chiefs, defensive back, Jay Taylor. And I've got to ask you the question that I've been asking through the entire several weeks that we have been operating the league with these replacement refs. We've had high school referees. We have had Division VII referees, lingerie bowl referees, arena bowl referees. But who else could the commissioner have gotten to use as replacement referees?
Could have went to Foot Locker, as some of the guys have alluded to in their tweets, saying Foot Locker wants their people back.
But did he really have much of a choice, though? Because the guys that are right now doing Division I officiating are doing Division I officiating.
Right. No, he had a choice. The choice was him and the owners didn't have to lock out the referees. This thing was precipitated by them. They started it last year when they locked out the players, and they continued on when they locked out the referees. So the problem was created by them. And they should have known better because, like people say, I pay to watch professionals who are the best of the best. So that means everything that encompasses that needs to be the best of the best. The coaches, the front office people, you want the best of the best. Well, that's the same with the referees. And I think it was very petty. I thought they should have dealt with it differently. If you had an issue with how it was, you shouldn't have locked them out. You should have continued to keep them on and negotiated as the season was going on. You hurt your brand when you did that, and I think that's why you saw what happened. They were lucky those first few weeks because no major thing, well, let me phrase that. Major things happened, but the game still turned out the right way.
It wasn't the last play
of
the game.
Right. It didn't cost a team. So when it cost a team, and I guarantee you, the owners, they were split. They had to have been. So half probably wanted it resolved, the other half is no. Soon as it happens to the wrong owner is when you see things happen. I think that was the course.
Okay, has the game been damaged?
Slightly, because there's a lot of people that knew it was ridiculous. I mean, think about the Monday night game. There was 24 penalties between the teams. Pee Wee football doesn't get 24 penalties.
You're talking about the infamous Seattle Green Bay game.
Yeah, and so it was bad. So in my mind, they really hurt themselves because they showed their colors. What a lot of the players talk about all the time, where the owners are all about themselves and don't necessarily care about everybody else. I think fans starting to see that a little bit. And the owners like, whoa, let's wait a minute. We got to adjust this back because if we hurt our brand, we're hurting our pocket.
Well, we don't want to hurt the brand. We don't want the game to be damaged. But more than anything else, we don't want the individual players to be damaged. What about the potential for injuries?
That was huge because the game moves at such a speed, and it increases each week as guys are getting more in shape and understand what's going on. And these guys couldn't keep up with it. So that's going to lead to injuries. I mean, there was the Pittsburgh Steelers defensive lineman got chop blocked by an Oakland Raiders player, and there was no flag. I mean, and it was blatant. It's like you couldn't miss it. You saw what happened, and there was no flag. Now, granted, I'm sure he's going to get fined, but still, those are the kind of things that can happen when you have referees that don't understand how to control the tempo and the attitude of the game.
And now when the pros blow one, the people that are professional officials, they blow one just like every quarterback, every interior lineman, every defensive back.
Right, but the guys are going to say right now, thank you. I'll accept that. Mainly because you're right. They do mix up on some calls, but it isn't 24 penalties in a game type of mess up. It's a simple slight one, but you've never seen a major ref actually mess up on a major call like that Seattle Green Bay game.
And also the fans need to know somebody's in charge.
Yes.
Okay, so we've had the players locked out. We've had the referees locked out. Everybody but the vendors so far have been locked out. NHL, no preseason at all because there's a work stoppage there. Is this now just going to be a part of professional sports? It's
partially. And I think because both sides are fighting for what they feel is right. And I think my philosophy is this. When you look at the pie, in sports, depending on what it is. So let's go with football for the fact that, let's say, $9 billion. When you're talking $9 billion, you can't tell people there's not enough money to make it work. Now, if it's less than that, then maybe there's some things. But I think owners need to understand the product is the player. The players need to understand that I don't need to ask for the bank. And if there's a come to the middle, like I like to say, come to Jesus moment, that both sides says, and here's a perfect example. I don't think there would ever be an issue in football if, when Gene Upshaw and all this stuff happened, if the NFL, back when there was the first strike, said, you know what, okay, here's the deal. We're going to set it up this way. You could make $15 million a year, but instead of making $15 million a year, we're going to say it's going to be $10 million a year. What we're going to do is take all that excess money. The day you're done, you can start collecting your retirement, and your medical will be covered 100%. So now the player says, okay, well, I have no need for that excess greatness because I know I'm going to get, let's say, $120,000 to the day I die, and my medical will be covered. So they win, the owner wins, because now instead of paying a huge contract, it's a smaller contract. And so that's what I mean about there needs to be some type of agreement like that. And I
You want to be the commissioner, Jay?
Oh, if I was a commissioner, there would be no issues whatsoever. I can tell you that right now. But I need to take that back. The receivers would be a little upset because I make sure that they get called for the pass interferences every time they push off on DBs. But, that's just a little thing.
I had a come to Jesus moment on that Monday game because Jesus called and said, "It's an interception, you fool."
Yes.
This is a big football fan. This is a terrific football player. And both of us came to you on Pat's Personal Portraits on KTAR.com.